In this bulletin, the aftermarket speaks out following a big win against Canon in the US International Trade Commission. Hello, I'm David Gibbons. Administrative Law Judge Dee Lord has ruled that Aster, 9-Star and PrintRite have not infringed Canon's printer cartridge patents, and she has shut down the investigation. Canon went to the US International Trade Commission over a year ago alleging 49 different aftermarket supplies firms infringed their toner cartridge patents relating to what has become known as the dongle gear complaint. The dongle gear is a metal coupling attached to the OPC drum inside Canon and HP cartridges. You can see it here. Dozens of firms settled with Canon at the time, not wanting to fight it and go through a lengthy and costly legal case. The ones that remained included the 9-Star Group, the Aster Group, the PrintRite Group and LD Products. Their motions for summary determination of non-infringement were finally granted on March 13. William Skip London has been Chief Attorney at Static Control Components since 1991. And for the best part of 30 years, he has been at the forefront of every major legal effort mounted by the industry as a whole, not just for Static Control. Static Control is now part of the 9-Star Group, and the highly respected Mr. Skip London joins me now in the United States. Greetings, Skip.
David, how are you?
Well, thank you. The Markman expression has popped up these past few weeks. For those of us who do not understand its meaning, please tell us exactly what is a Markman briefing?
Sure. So a patent, not to get too deep in the weeds, has three parts. There's a written description, which is the lengthiest part of the patent. There are drawings that describe the patent. And at the very end, there are things called claims. And these are a very long sentence that uses technical words, typically. And the claim describes the boundary of the patent. So if you look at the claim, it says, if you fall inside the boundary of what's described by the claim, then you infringe the patent. And if you are outside of that boundary, then you don't infringe the patent. And what a Markman hearing is designed to do is it says to the judge, we have an argument about what this claim language means. Would you, judge, tell us so we can help determine whether we're inside or outside the boundary of the claim?
Oh, that helps to explain it, thank you. Now moving on, there have been a few aftermarket parties involved, including the 9-Star and Static Control team on one hand. Then of course there's the Canon on the other side. What I would like to know is, where did the US International Trade Commission, better known as the ITC, sit with all of this?
Sure. So the International Trade Commission, unlike in a regular court, where it would be just Canon and the people they sue, when you go to the International Trade Commission, they have staff attorneys, and the staff attorneys look at this issue, and they also make a recommendation to the court. So in this particular case, Canon had a construction they would like to put on the claim that, of course, brought the defendants inside the boundary of the claim. We had an argument as to what the claim meant that said we were outside of the boundary of the claim. And unusually, I really think probably for the first time in one of these toner cartridges cases, the staff attorneys at the ITC agreed with us, the 9-Star Static team, that these claims did not cover us. We were outside the boundary of the claim.
So is Judge Dee Lord's ruling the final word on the matter, or are we about to see a round of appeals in higher courts?
Sure. So nothing is ever final in law, right? In this particular case, Judge Lord's ruling will go to the full ITC commission. The full ITC commission has the ability, but not the obligation, to review her ruling. So sometime fairly quickly after she rules, the ITC will say, are they interested in taking the case or are they not? If they say they are, then the parties will argue all of this in front of the ITC, and the ITC staff will again weigh in. If the ICC Commission says they're not interested in taking it, then Canon has the right to go to the Federal Circuit and ask the Federal Circuit to review it. And of course, if they lose there, they can go to the Supreme Court and ask the Supreme Court if they're interested.
All these sorts of things have happened before, of course.
Yes, yes.
So can you explain what essentially has been the issue? What is the difference between Canon's angular gear solution and the linear gear solution, which goes up and down, that has been used by static control?
Sure. In effect, the entire argument has been about what does Canon patents show. If you look at the drawings, you look at the written description, what kind of gear is shown in those drawings and in those descriptions. Canon contends that any gear that, if you recall the way that Canon gears actually work, the Canon gears have a ball and socket connection. So the dongle takes an angle to the drum, and it does so by virtue of that ball and socket connection. The argument we have been making is that nothing in that patent discloses a gear which retracts into the drum the way the static and 9-star gear does. And that telescoping dongle is not even referenced anywhere in the patent, and therefore Canon didn't invent a telescoping dongle, and the patent claims should be construed to cover what they invented and not things they didn't invent. And that's really the essence of the argument.
Okay, Skip, so is this dongle gear case more of a technical or a legal matter?
Well, so much like so many patent things, it's a little bit of both, right? It's technically, how do these gears work? And then legally, what does the language mean? And of course, there are lots of rules as to how you should construe the language. But at the heart of it is the language of the claim should be construed in light of the written description and the drawings. And because the written description and the drawings don't show telescoping dongles, the construction should be that it takes an angle. Right? We argued it should pivot, but it's really very similar to what the judge ruled.
Yeah. Sure. And given everything you've just said, Skip, how can Static Control and the 9-star team be confident that its dongle gear solution will continue to be safe? I mean, for the people involved in distribution, sales, and the actual users themselves.
Sure. So we, of course, believed we were safe from the beginning, and for all the reasons that the judge and we cited. We're confident because the ITC staff supported that position. We're confident now because Judge Lord supported that position. But even if Canon were successful a couple of years from now of convincing some court somewhere that that was the wrong decision, we had an alternate design that we presented to Canon during the course of this litigation. And Canon, it's admitted that that alternate design does not infringe these patents. So whether it's this design or some alternate design, we will have something we can provide our customers that doesn't infringe Canon patents.
That's interesting. And I'm always surprised, but I guess I shouldn't be, at the inventiveness of this industry. Thanks for speaking with me today.
All right. Thank you, David. Good to talk to you.
I've been talking with Skip London, Chief Attorney at Static Control Components, and I'm David Gibbons.